The story of Abraham, known as the father of faith, is one of the foundational narratives of the Bible. Spanning multiple chapters in the book of Genesis, it recounts Abraham's journey of faith, obedience, and the fulfillment of God's promises to him and his descendants. Abraham, originally named Abram, lived in Ur of the Chaldeans, a bustling city in Mesopotamia. God appeared to Abram and gave him a monumental command. Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. Along with this call came an extraordinary promise. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Abram, at 75 years old, obeyed God without hesitation, taking his wife Sarai, later renamed Sarah, his nephew Lot, and all their possessions to travel to the land of Canaan. When Abram arrived, God promised him that his descendants would inherit the land, even though Abram had no children at the time. Soon after settling in Canaan, a severe famine forced Abram to go to Egypt. To protect himself, he told the Egyptians that Sarai was his sister rather than his wife, fearing they might kill him to take her. Pharaoh took Sarai into his palace, but God afflicted Pharaoh's household with plagues. When Pharaoh discovered the truth, he rebuked Abram and sent him away with his wife and possessions. Back in Canaan, Abram's wealth and Lot's prosperity led to conflicts between their herdsmen. To maintain peace, Abram gave Lot the choice of land. Lot chose the fertile plains near Sodom, while Abram remained in Canaan. God then reaffirmed his promise, saying Abram's descendants would be as numerous as the dust of the earth. Though Abram trusted God, he struggled with doubt because he and Sarai were still childless. Abram asked God, "What can you give me since I remain childless?" God assured him that he would have a son of his own. God took Abram outside and said, "Look up at the sky and count the stars. If indeed you can count them, so shall your offspring be." Abram believed God, and his faith was credited to him as righteousness. God then made a covenant with Abram, reaffirming that his descendants would inherit the land. This covenant was sealed through a symbolic ritual where God's presence, represented by a blazing torch, passed between pieces of sacrificed animals, signifying his unbreakable promise. Sarai, unable to conceive, suggested Abram have a child with her servant Hagar. Abram agreed, and Hagar bore a son named Ishmael. However, this decision caused strife as Sarai grew jealous of Hagar. Despite the complications, God promised to bless Ishmael, but he made it clear that the promised child would come through Sarai. When Abram was 99 years old, God appeared to him again, reaffirming his covenant. God changed Abram's name to Abraham, meaning father of many nations, and Sarai's name to Sarah, meaning princess. God promised that Sarah would bear a son, whom they were to name Isaac. As a sign of this covenant, God commanded Abraham and all the males in his household to be circumcised. This act symbolized their commitment to God's promises. One day Abraham was visited by three mysterious men, often understood as angels or a manifestation of God. They told him that Sarah would have a son within a year. Sarah, overhearing this, laughed in disbelief because she was well past childbearing age. But the Lord said, "Is anything too hard for the Lord?" God revealed to Abraham that he planned to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because of their wickedness. Concerned for the righteous living there, Abraham pleaded with God to spare the cities if even 50 righteous people could be found. He continued negotiating, lowering the number to 10. God agreed, but ultimately destroyed the cities when even 10 righteous people could not be found. However, God spared Lot and his family. As promised, Sarah miraculously conceived and gave birth to Isaac when Abraham was 100 years old. The name Isaac, meaning he laughs, reflected both Abraham and Sarah's initial disbelief and the joy they felt at his birth. Isaac's arrival marked the fulfillment of God's promise to give Abraham a son through Sarah. One of the most profound moments in Abraham's story came when God tested his faith. God commanded Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, the son through whom the promise was to be fulfilled. Despite the unimaginable request, Abraham obeyed, trusting in God's plan. He took Isaac to Mount Moriah and prepared to offer him as a burnt offering. As Abraham raised the knife, an angel of the Lord called out, stopping him. God provided a ram caught in a thicket as a substitute for the sacrifice. This event demonstrated Abraham's absolute faith and obedience, and God reaffirmed his promise to bless him and make his descendants as numerous as the stars. After Sarah's death, Abraham purchased a burial site in Canaan, signifying his belief that his descendants would inherit the land. Later, he arranged for Isaac to marry Rebekah, ensuring the continuation of God's promise. Abraham lived to 175 years old and was buried alongside Sarah. His legacy continued through Isaac, Jacob, and the nation of Israel, fulfilling God's promise. Abraham's story is a powerful testament to faith, obedience, and God's faithfulness. It shows how trust in God, even in the face of uncertainty and trials, leads to blessings that extend beyond one's lifetime. Abraham's covenant with God laid the foundation for the people of Israel, and ultimately, the coming of Jesus Christ, fulfilling the promise that through Abraham, all nations would be blessed.